Welcome back, students. So we will solve the page 5 questions on chapter 2 review. Okay, first, perpendicular to that equation, that line. So it's an awkward way that they wrote this. So x over 3 is the same as 1/3 x. So now you can see that in mx plus b format. So the slope is 1/3. What I'm doing right now is expressing the course content. As soon as you do this, you're gaining like a half a point, something like that. So perpendicular lines have slopes that are negative reciprocals. Immediately, you've gained some credit right there. So this line slope is 1/3, okay? Not 1/3 x, just 1/3. A line that's perpendicular will have a slope that is negative 3/1. So reciprocal is, basically you're flipping it. So 1/3 becomes 3/1. And then negative is just simply changing the sign. If it was negative, make it positive. Since it was positive, make it negative. I'm going to use point slope form just because it takes a point and converts it right to an equation. But of course, you could graph this point, apply the slope, and come up with an equation in mx plus b format. I'm just going to continue this. Okay. So the point it's got to go through is 6,2 with a slope of negative 3. Okay. Next, to find the distance, there is a distance formula, but I tend to use Pythagorean theorem. So the way I do that is I get the change in y, the 3, and the change in x, which in this case is 7, and I just treat it like a right triangle. If I'm looking for the length of AB, I count. It is a right angle on a graph for sure, so we can use Pythagorean theorem to get that length from A to B. So that's how I do it. Now, it does not say we can round. It is going to end up being the square root of 58, which is a decimal, just under 8, but it did not tell us to round, so I'm just going to leave it. That's better. Okay, so the next thing we're looking to do is find out if a point is on the perpendicular bisector. Now, originally, I calculated the equation of the line that is the perpendicular bisector, and then saw if P was on that. That's one way to go. Another way that I think they intend is for us to show the length of AP and BP are different, okay, because they are. But we have to show that. So the explanation has to demonstrate that, okay? So I'm getting the length of both AP and PB. Square root of 37, you don't have to give me a decimal for that. I just know they're different, and that's all that matters, okay? So since AP's length is square root of 37, BP's length is square root of 45, they're different. So P's not on the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, last question, or last part of question 13. Sorry, a little technical difficulty here. Trying to get the axis down and get rid of the lines that moved. All right, back to it. So what I'm trying to do is find the midpoint of AB right now, which is at negative 0.5, 2.5. The slope is, real fast, I found the rise, or the up and down, to be 3, the run to be 7, the across value, okay? So rise over run. And the reason I chose negative is as we moved from the left to the right, from A to B, a particle would have been going down. So that's a negative slope. Now, the slope of a line that's perpendicular to AB would be the negative reciprocal, 7/3. Okay. So now I'm going through again, and I'm using point slope form. So this is my point, x1, y1. Okay, so y minus y1, y minus 2.5 equals slope times x minus x1, so minus negative 0.5. Double negative is not nice to see, so I'm just going to fix that quick. to plus. All right, same process here. Find the midpoint of AV. There's a formula for midpoint. What you're seeing me do right now is cutting the change in x in half, and I'm going to cut the change in y in half and see where those meet. Okay, so the midpoint is over there at 1, 3. The formula would have gotten that done too. Oh, where did the slope come from? So the run is 10, that goes on the bottom. The across is the run. The rise is the up and down, which is 6. And again, as we move from the left to the right, a particle on this segment would move down. So that's why it's a negative slope. Okay, so now the equation in using point slope form. So it'll be y minus 3, right? Because that's 3. So y minus 3, and then negative 3/5 for m, x minus 1. There it is. Okay, that's it for page 5.